Greetings. It's Monday, the 4th of August, 2025. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is the Monday Morning Report. Trump and his submarines. Will this silliness ever end? You would think that the commander-in-chief would know something about how our Navy works. The president's remarks about sending 2 nuclear ballistic missile submarines to, quote, an appropriate location, unquote. Well, that was both a silly and a highly provocative statement that was not only not necessary, it didn't help things very much. First, nuclear missile subs are always where they need to be. At any time, there are 4 to 6 of them on patrol in the oceans. They cruise for months deep under the surface, thousands of feet down. Exactly how deep is, of course, classified like most things like that, but, well, let's just say that they're pretty hidden, and that's their job. Simple. Don't be detected. And if the order comes in from Washington to end all life on planet Earth, the crew is to do so without hesitation. Yeah. An interesting job, to be sure. On the bright side, I hear they have great food on those submarines, along with modern gym equipment, well-stocked libraries, and lots of classic movies to watch when not on duty. And we think of ourselves as an intelligent species. All this fuss because the former president of Russia put out a stupid comment on social media that President Trump didn't like. Although I think by now the Russians and the rest of the world know what they're dealing with in Washington, raising the temperature of the global political and military environment is not a good idea, Mr. President. Not at all. I know the Epstein thing has you annoyed and perhaps a little rattled, but please take a deep breath and a chill pill. Go spend more time on one of your golf courses. It might help. All of us. In other Beltway intrigue, the president fired the lady at the Bureau of Labor Statistics who had data he didn't like. Now, I'm sorry to those of you who think our president walks on water, but I seriously doubt there are any shenanigans involving the job numbers data that was put out. That might disappoint you and our current leader, but well, reality is always a little inconvenient. That government office is pretty clean. Bureau of Labor Statistics is, well, of all the intrigue and skullduggery we have in Washington, that's a pretty mundane, boring, straight-laced place. Actually, one of the cleanest. Now, was it possible there were some cooking of the books? Of course it's possible, but highly, highly unlikely. Allegations like these kinds have been made before, and they've always amounted to nothing. Labor statistics has so many internal checks and balances that you really can't throw the numbers off, for political reasons especially. It's in no one's interest there. They just do their job. And they've been doing it for some time, and by all accounts, including people I've met in the past, they're pretty good at it. If you've ever dealt with federal employees of the rank-and-file functionary kind, they don't take risks with their jobs, their benefits, or especially their pensions, just to satisfy some current state of politics. And everybody who has lived in the Beltway long enough knows that, as do other governments around the world, along with the leaders of global business and finance. And that is where the problems are really going to start. Honest data is needed for commerce to function and for government policy, intelligent government policy to be formulated. And if that is called into question, the U.S. becomes a much less attractive place to invest in and to do business with. And please stop that everything that goes on in Washington is a lie nonsense or all government employees are crooked. Neither is true, no matter how oversimplified people want to make things. Firing the lady who headed up the Bureau of Labor Statistics was a very bad call by President Trump. And I predict this action will hurt the United States our people and the agenda that he was elected to put forward. In the short, medium, and long term, this is not going to go anywhere good. Oh, and back to the Epstein saga. The infamous Ms. Maxwell has been moved to a minimum security prison camp in Texas. Really? I wonder what that means. Clearly, some sort of deal is being cut behind the scenes. Reports that upwards of 100 people she's prepared to name, and in front of Congress. Probably live on C-SPAN if that does happen. That would be something to watch. Talk is that Prince Andrew of the United Kingdom is being, quote, advised, unquote, to appear before Congress as well to talk about his relationship with the late Mr. Epstein and Mr. Epstein's product line. It'll be interesting to see how that goes, but the people who are going to be named are going to do everything possible to prevent that from happening. Even though Ms. Maxwell is in a minimum security prison, let's hope that her security is top-notch. Now, for something completely different. UFOs. Yes, those things, those guys, whatever they are. It's being reported that our vice president is spending his summer looking into that traditional American obsession and to get to the truth. Good luck with that, Mr. Vance. It's no surprise, really. You hear about this during the summer months. Lots more UFO sightings being reported, mostly because people are outdoors and are looking up for a change instead of down at their computers or in their offices and behind cubicles. Some weird stuff is being reported in that department, but these days, well, that's nothing new. On a more positive side, Robert Kennedy Jr., our head of Health and Human Services, seems to be doing something quite rare in our nation's capital these days: his job. To his credit, Mr. Kennedy is staying out of the drama that has engulfed the White House and is keeping his nose to the grindstone. He's taking measures to eliminate mercury from vaccines, for example, a move that is long overdue. Mercury was traditionally used as a preservative for such substances. We now know, of course, that mercury is not very good for you in any way, shape, or form. Although still controversial, given his views on health and related issues, Mr. Kennedy is working with the bureaucracy he inherited. He's not complaining about it. Good on him. Meanwhile, down under, Australia has set up collection boxes for knives, machetes, and other such objects in the hope that all the savages they've imported from third world countries will turn them in and learn to play nice with each other. Yeah. Right. Have you noticed how violent and crime-ridden the United Kingdom and Australia have become since they decided to import much of the world's human garbage in the name of diversity, all while disarming themselves, banning guns and importing the rejects from the world's least developed countries? Does anyone see a pattern here? An agenda? Well, lots of us have. But once you're disarmed, there's not much you can do about it, is there? And speaking of savages, the white lady, she's being identified as a Russian in some places, the lady who was brutally beaten by a black mob in Cincinnati a couple of weeks ago, has gone public. She's talked about how she now has a renewed faith in humanity, given the outpouring of sympathy for her plight and what happened to her. She's still recovering from her injuries, including brain trauma. Some of those being arrested and charged are not keeping their mouths shut. They're claiming they were called racial slurs. And that made everything justifiable. So for that, they think they have the right to escalate things to a level of violence that can best be described as savage. I, for one, don't believe it. I mean, it's possible. People drinking tend to do and say stupid things. But I tend to seriously doubt what they're telling us especially these days. I mean, walking up to a black man you don't know on the street at night and then calling him something insulting. Does anyone really believe that? I mean, really? Possible, but come on. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument that did happen. Well, so what? I've been called racial slurs before, and a few times by people who were really hate-filled towards whites. I mean, you could see it in their eyes. But I didn't resort to violence. And I have seen and worked with black men and women who were called the N-word and worse. And you know what they did? Nothing. Because they were smart. They were intelligent. They were human. There is no excuse, none whatsoever, for the savage behavior we saw in Cincinnati the other week. There is no excuse, no justification. No matter what any self-hating white liberal has told you, there is no reason for violence of that kind, no matter what anyone says to you. No matter whatever justification for being a savage you think you possess, what we all saw, and I'm sad to say we see more and more of in this country, is nothing more than animal-like behavior, only without the redeeming quality of being an animal. This not only has to stop, it will stop, one way or the other. Whenever law and order breaks down to the extent we are seeing in the United States, brute force is always brought to bear to end it. It's the way of nature, the way of civilization. Humans, no matter what race or ethnicity, want to be safe and secure. It's in our DNA. And those of us who threaten that safety and security are the enemy. And has been the case for millennia. Such enemies are eventually eliminated, so the rest of us can live in peace, because that is our birthright. That's it for today. If you appreciate my work, please like, subscribe, and share. Share with your friends and share with your enemies. They want to live in a safe and decent environment as well. I can be reached at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. I'm up on X. My handle there is MICCAMPEN. That's MICCAMPEN. This podcast originates at Substack. My handle there is aureliancolumn.substack.com. Until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and remember, clown world, the deep state, and all mindless savage behavior, and those who perpetrate it must be destroyed. Good day.